You've been feeling it for a while now, an unusual heaviness in the air around you, a subtle pressure that you can't quite explain. It's not dramatic and it's not loud, but it lingers in the background of your days like a quiet vibration you can't ignore. Maybe it appears when you wake up in the morning and sense that something in your life no longer fits the way it used to. Maybe it hits you unexpectedly in the middle of an ordinary moment, making you pause as though an unseen hand has touched your shoulder. Or maybe it has been building slowly, an awareness growing at the edges of your mind, telling you that the life you've known is preparing to shift into something unfamiliar. These sensations aren't random, they aren't illusions, they aren't just passing thoughts that appear for no reason. They are the early signals that precede a major turning point in your story. People who go through transformative seasons feel this exact kind of restlessness, this quiet discomfort that whispers, "You're not supposed to stay where you are." You may not have words for it yet, and you may not know what it means, but deep down you can sense that you're being moved into a different direction. Your intuition has been trying to get your attention. Your environment feels slightly out of sync. The pace of your life has been changing, even if you can't fully see how. If you're listening to this message right now, it's not an accident. Messages like this do not show up for people who are standing still. They appear for people who are in motion, for people on the verge of transition, for people whose lives are beginning to shift beneath the surface. You arrived here at the exact moment you were meant to, drawn by something you might not fully understand yet. But that's how these moments work. They come quietly, they arrive unexpectedly, and they speak directly to the part of you that's ready to wake up. Think back on your recent weeks or months. Notice how often life has been nudging you to pay attention. Relationships feel different. Old patterns no longer satisfy you. You feel detached from situations that once felt comfortable. The things you used to tolerate now drain you faster than before. You catch yourself daydreaming more, imagining possibilities that don't match your current reality. Even your setbacks, frustrations, or emotional lows have been part of this internal shift. They're not signs of failure, they're signs that your current chapter is reaching its natural conclusion. And yet, even with all these changes swirling around you, there is a strange sense of clarity hidden underneath. It might be faint, but it's there, a feeling that says, something is coming and I need to be ready. This is the moment when life begins to reroute you, when your path bends in a direction you didn't expect. You are sensing the shift because you're meant to sense it. You are noticing the signs because they are meant for you. The timing is intentional. The alignment is real. And the fact that you are here, listening to these words right now, is one of the clearest confirmations you will receive. So as you continue watching, let yourself be fully present. Allow these words to settle. Trust that they found you for a reason. Your life is not drifting aimlessly. It is shifting towards something precise, something necessary, something aligned with who you are becoming. This message is the beginning of that understanding. If this resonates with you, if you feel the truth of it stirring inside, make sure you like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another message meant for your journey. When significant change approaches, it rarely arrives with clear instructions or obvious announcements. Instead, it begins quietly, showing itself through subtle shifts that most people overlook until the transformation is already underway. But those who are sensitive to their inner landscape, those who are connected to their intuition in ways they don't always understand, begin noticing these signs much earlier. They may not know what they mean at first, but they can feel the atmosphere around their lives evolving. The familiar no longer feels familiar, the usual no longer feels usual, and beneath everything there is a push, a pressure, a calling that refuses to be ignored. One of the earliest signs of an approaching shift is the feeling of losing alignment with environments that once felt comfortable. It may start as a sense of emotional distance, like a subtle disconnect from the people, places, or routines you have known for a long time. You find yourself observing conversations instead of participating in them. Activities that once brought you joy now feel empty or repetitive. You catch yourself questioning the spaces you move through every day, wondering why they no longer feel like home. This misalignment is not a failure on your part. It is an indicator that your energy is evolving while the world around you remains the same. You may also notice your tolerance fading. Situations that you used to endure without thinking now feel draining or even suffocating. The small irritations you once overlooked become harder to ignore. Your patience with stagnant environments shortens, not because you are becoming more difficult, but because life is preparing to move you away from those environments entirely. The discomfort is intentional. It is designed to keep you from staying where you no longer belong. As this misalignment deepens, something else begins to awaken within you. Your intuition. You start sensing things before they happen. You get quiet impressions that later turn out to be true. You feel nudged towards certain choices or away from others. You find yourself knowing things without knowing how you know them. This heightened intuition is one of the strongest indicators that life is about to change direction. When a major shift is approaching, your inner guidance becomes louder, clearer, and more insistent because it needs to prepare you for what's coming. It is like a radio frequency that suddenly becomes crisp after years of static. Sometimes these intuitive signals come in the form of emotional waves. You might wake up with a feeling you cannot explain, a sense that something significant is moving toward you. Throughout the day, you may feel pulled to reflect, to withdraw, or to sit in silence. Your emotions may fluctuate more intensely than usual, not because you are unstable, but because your internal world is being recalibrated for a new chapter. You might not have language for this change yet, but your body, mind, and spirit are already responding to it. Another powerful sign of an approaching shift is the rise of synchronicities. These are the repeated coincidences that seem too precise to be accidents. You see the same numbers, the same symbols, the same phrases, or the same reminders in places where you least expect them. You meet people who mention something you were just thinking about. You stumble across information that speaks directly to a question you haven't voiced out loud. These moments feel eerie at times, almost supernatural, because they are meant to catch your attention. They are life's way of saying, "Pay attention, something is aligning for you." You may find yourself repeatedly encountering the same themes. Messages about transformation, renewal, purpose, or new beginnings appear in your environment in multiple forms. Songs, videos, conversations, dreams, memories, resurfacing at unexpected moments. All these signals serve the same function. They are not random, they are part of the preparation process. Life uses repetition when it wants to make sure you notice that something meaningful is approaching. During this phase, your relationships may begin shifting as well. Some people grow distant, while others unexpectedly become closer. Certain connections feel increasingly heavy, like they are weighing you down. Others feel strangely uplifting, as though they are helping you rise into the new version of yourself. These changes can be confusing, especially if they involve people you have known for a long time, but relationships often rearrange themselves when you are approaching a new season of life. Some individuals are meant to accompany you into the next chapter. Others were only meant to support you through the chapter you are leaving behind. The shifting dynamics are part of the transition. You may also notice a change in your internal motivation. The goals that once drove you may no longer feel important. Meanwhile, desires you never paid attention to begin to rise with surprising strength. This is a sign that your purpose is shifting into alignment with your next direction. The things you feel pulled toward now are clues about where your life is heading. You might start exploring new topics, new interests, or new ways of thinking. You may find yourself imagining a different lifestyle, even if you don't yet know how to reach it. These are not fantasies without meaning. They are previews of the next version of your life. Sometimes the signs manifest physically. You may feel restless in your body, unable to sit still even when you have nothing pressing to do. You may feel tired without being sick, or energized without knowing why. Your sleep patterns may shift. Your appetite may change. Your nervous system becomes more sensitive because it is responding to the internal reorganization happening beneath your awareness. Your body knows when a major shift is coming even before your mind fully understands it. There are also moments of unexpected clarity. You may suddenly understand something that confused you for years. You may recognize a pattern you have been repeating. You may see through a situation you once felt lost in. These flashes of insight are not accidental. They are breakthroughs meant to free you from old cycles, so you can step into a new direction without carrying unnecessary weight. As all these signs accumulate, you begin to sense a quiet urgency. Not the anxious urgency that comes from fear, but the deeper urgency that comes from knowing change is necessary. You feel pulled toward growth, pulled toward truth, pulled toward something larger than your current circumstances. It's as though the universe is slowly realigning everything around you to match the person you are becoming. Every discomfort, every intuitive whisper, every coincidence, and every shift in perspective is part of that alignment. It is important to understand that none of these signs are random. They are coordinated, intentional, and deeply meaningful. Life does not send these signals without reason. When a major shift is approaching, your inner and outer worlds begin preparing you long before the change becomes visible. You are being guided, you are being prepared, you are being moved. The signs you are noticing are not mistakes or misinterpretations. They are evidence that your next chapter is forming behind the scenes. This is the phase where everything feels slightly off balance, slightly unfamiliar, slightly out of sync, because you are standing on the threshold between what was and what will be. You are sensing the tremors of a transformation that wants to unfold, and the more you notice these signs, the more clearly you will understand that your life is not drifting. It is reorganizing itself with purpose. It is leading you somewhere new. It is shifting you into a direction that aligns with your growth, your evolution, and your deeper path. You are not imagining these changes. You are recognizing them. And by recognizing them, you are stepping into a higher awareness of what life is preparing you for. The signs are the beginning. The shift that follows will reveal the reason behind every moment you are experiencing now. When a significant life shift begins to unfold, the underlying reasons are rarely obvious at first glance. Most people only notice the symptoms, the discomfort, the restlessness, the sense that something is changing beneath the surface. But those symptoms point toward a deeper truth. Life does not push you forward unless you have reached the natural limits of the space you have been living in. Whether you recognize it consciously or not, you have outgrown your current phase. The person you were when you entered this chapter is not the person you are today. Your experiences, your insights, your wounds, your victories, your disappointments, and your resilience have all shaped you into someone who can no longer fit comfortably inside the boundaries of your old life. Growth rarely feels like growth while it is happening. Often it feels like fatigue, like frustration, like losing interest in things you used to enjoy. It feels like being pulled away from patterns that once felt safe. Outgrowing a phase of life does not feel smooth. It feels like being pushed against walls that are suddenly too small. The dialogues you once enjoyed feel repetitive. The choices you used to make feel uninspired. The relationships that once defined you now feel limiting or outdated. This is not because anything is wrong with those people or those situations. It is because you are becoming someone who can no longer expand within the same space. Your inner values evolve first. Long before the outer circumstances shift, your internal compass begins to realign itself. You start questioning what matters to you. You begin to crave meaning over routine, purpose over familiarity, truth over comfort. You hear your intuition more clearly than before, especially when it warns you that you are settling for less than what you are capable of. You feel an undeniable tug toward authenticity, even if you cannot describe what that authenticity looks like yet. This internal evolution is the earliest stage of transformation, and it is often the stage that creates the most internal conflict. Part of you wants to hold on to what you know because it feels familiar. Another part of you is ready to step into something larger, even if you don't know what it is. There comes a moment when staying where you are becomes more painful than stepping into the unknown. That moment is the tipping point, the point where life begins to restructure itself around your next level. When opportunities, people, habits, or environments begin falling away, it is not punishment, it is clearing. Life removes what cannot support your growth so that you can build something stronger, something aligned with the person you are becoming. This clearing often feels abrupt or disruptive, but it is necessary. You cannot carry every part of your old identity into your new direction. Some pieces no longer belong. As your inner values shift, you begin attracting different experiences. This is not metaphysical theory, it is a psychological and emotional reality. When you change internally, your decisions change, your expectations change, and your energy changes. Your attention gravitates toward different things. You notice opportunities you would have overlooked before. You feel drawn to environments that reflect your growth. This shift opens doors that were not visible to you when you were living from your former level of awareness. These new opportunities often require a stronger version of you. They are not designed for who you used to be. They are designed for who you are becoming. This is why the transition feels demanding. The universe is not testing you, it is preparing you. It is shaping your mindset, your discipline, your courage, and your emotional capacity to match the magnitude of the opportunities ahead. You cannot step into a larger destiny with the mindset of your old identity. The expansion requires an upgrade, and that upgrade is happening within you, whether you feel ready or not. There are times when this preparation feels like pressure. You feel pushed to confront things you avoided in the past. You feel pushed to release attachments that once felt essential. You feel pushed to strengthen aspects of yourself that were previously ignored. This pressure is the forging process. It is life's way of ensuring that when your new opportunities arrive, you do not sabotage them or shrink from them out of fear. You are being shaped into someone who can handle more, someone who can hold more, someone who can rise to a higher calling. For those who resonate with the identity of the chosen one, this process often unfolds more intensely. People who carry a deeper purpose, a more significant assignment, or a stronger spiritual calling tend to experience abrupt transitions. Their lives are not allowed to stagnate for too long. The universe intervenes quickly when their growth slows down. Their intuition becomes louder. Their discomfort becomes sharper. Their misalignments become impossible to ignore. This is because their timing matters. Their presence matters. Their role in the larger narrative matters. The chosen one experiences a different kind of pressure, a different kind of preparation, because they are being positioned with intention. Life does not allow them to stay in environments that diminish them or relationships that restrain them. When they try to settle, the foundation beneath them becomes unstable. When they cling to old identities, life creates circumstances that force them to evolve. When they ignore their intuition, they experience increasing internal conflict. This is not cruelty, it is precision. They are not being punished, they are being redirected. Abrupt transitions are often the clearest sign of divine or destiny-driven intervention. These are the moments when everything changes at once. Relationships shift, career paths collapse or expand, unexpected opportunities appear, and old versions of you fall away in rapid succession. These transitions feel chaotic on the surface, but beneath the chaos is structure. The old cycle ends quickly, so that the new cycle can begin without delay. The chosen one is often pulled forward faster than they would choose to move on their own. Life accelerates their timeline because their purpose requires it. This acceleration can feel overwhelming. You might feel like you are losing control, as though life is moving faster than your emotions can process. But what feels like instability is actually alignment. You are being moved into the places where you belong. You are being separated from what cannot accompany your next stage. You are being given the exact experiences that will build the strength, wisdom, clarity, and resilience required for what comes next. During this stage, you might find yourself questioning why everything is happening at once, why relationships feel different, why opportunities appear unexpectedly, why old plans fall apart, why new desires rise with such intensity. The answer is simple. You reached completion. The cycle you were living in has given you everything it was meant to give. The lessons, the connections, the challenges, the achievements, they have all served their purpose. You are not meant to repeat this phase. You are meant to transcend it. When life senses that you are ready for a higher path, it orchestrates events that push you toward it. This orchestration is not random. It is deliberate, calibrated, and precise. Every disruption creates space. Every ending clears room. Every shift adjusts your trajectory. You are not being thrown into chaos. You are being positioned for alignment. As your purpose evolves, so does your environment. You begin to attract people who inspire you rather than drain you. You begin to desire work that fulfills you rather than confines you. You begin to sense that your presence is needed elsewhere, in a place where your gifts, your voice, your strength, or your story can make a greater impact. This is the moment when your old life begins to feel too small, because it was never meant to contain the next version of you. The deeper truth is this: life shifts you because you are ready, even if you don't feel ready. You are being upgraded because you have already grown beyond your old identity. You are being called into a new direction because your purpose is expanding. You are experiencing pressure because you are rising into a role that requires more from you. You are being moved abruptly because your timeline is accelerating. Your life shift is happening because you have become too powerful for the container you were living in. You have evolved too much to remain unchanged, and you are being prepared for something larger, something meaningful, something that aligns with the path you were always meant to walk. This is why everything feels different. This is why your inner world is transforming. This is why your life is rearranging itself. You are stepping into your next assignment. You are stepping into your deeper purpose. And every shift you are experiencing is part of the journey forward. When a major life shift is underway, the question that inevitably rises is where all of this change is leading you. The signs you've been noticing, the inner pressure, the emotional waves, the dissolving of old patterns, and the awakening of new desires are not isolated events. They are interconnected movements, all pointing toward the trajectory your life is preparing to take. This transition is not random. It is not accidental. It is not happening to you without meaning. It is a directional pull, a reorientation of your entire path as life begins aligning you with your next chapter. And while each person's journey is unique, these shifts often move you into three overarching directions: expansion in your opportunities, restructuring in your relationships, and deep transformation within yourself. These movements shape the future you are stepping into. The first direction this shift may lead you toward is the opening of new opportunities in your career, your purpose, or your finances. When you outgrow your previous season, the doors aligned with that season begin to close, sometimes abruptly and without warning. But the end of one opportunity is simply the clearing required for a better one to appear. Life does not take without offering. It transitions. It redirects. It elevates you to spaces where you can operate at your full capacity, rather than shrinking yourself to fit the limitations of your past. You may begin noticing ideas forming in your mind, ideas you never took seriously before because you were distracted by survival, routine, or expectations placed on you by others. A new sense of ambition may emerge, not the frantic ambition rooted in comparison or insecurity, but the grounded ambition that comes from clarity. You may feel pulled toward work that feels more meaningful, toward paths that reflect your values, or toward projects that demand both courage and creativity. In some cases, opportunities arise externally: a new job, a new role, a new collaboration, or an unexpected financial opening. These opportunities may feel sudden, as if they appeared out of nowhere, but in truth, they were forming long before you recognized them. Your internal evolution created the vibrational shift necessary for those external doors to unlock. At this stage, life may also test your willingness to trust yourself. You may feel tempted to cling to old routines out of fear, even when they no longer serve you. But part of this new direction involves stepping into your capability. It involves recognizing your skills, your gifts, your intelligence, your creativity, and the value you bring to the world. The shift in your life is guiding you toward a place where you no longer shrink to fit the expectations of others. Instead, you rise to meet the potential that has been quietly developing inside you. This expansion may lead to financial growth as well, not just in terms of income, but in terms of stability, structure, and long-term sustainability. You begin making decisions that reflect your self-worth, and those decisions ripple outward into your material life. The second direction this shift may lead you toward is a reshaping of your relationships. When you evolve internally, the alignment of your external world changes in response. People who matched your old identity may no longer match your new one. This can be one of the most uncomfortable parts of the transition, because relationships carry emotional weight, familiarity, and history. However, the purpose of this shift is not to take relationships away from you without reason. The purpose is to ensure that the relationships in your life support who you are becoming. You may find that some people naturally drift away, communication slows. The connection feels forced. The energy feels heavy. What once felt harmonious now feels slightly dissonant. This is not because something is wrong with you or with them. It is because your paths are diverging. When one person grows and another remains the same, the dynamic must shift. If the relationship cannot expand with you, it must distance itself from you. This is part of the natural order of personal evolution. But just as some relationships fade, new ones begin to emerge. You may meet individuals who feel familiar, even though you've just connected. You may encounter mentors, collaborators, or friends who inspire you to rise into your next level. These people reflect the version of you that is unfolding. They resonate with your values, your purpose, your mindset, and your energy. These relationships serve as bridges into your new season. They challenge you, support you, and mirror back your strengths in ways you may not have recognized before. In some cases, this restructuring may affect romantic connections. You may outgrow partnerships that no longer support your emotional or spiritual development. You may feel called to create deeper standards, clearer boundaries, and a higher level of authenticity in your romantic life. Alternatively, if your current relationship is aligned, it may deepen as both individuals evolve together. The key point is that relationships will shift in whatever direction is necessary for your growth. Life does not allow you to carry relationships that restrict your expansion into the next phase. Only those that align with your new identity or evolve alongside you will remain. The third direction this shift may lead you toward is an internal transformation that reshapes the foundation of who you are. This is the most profound aspect of the shift, and often the most life-changing. You begin to experience a clarity that was previously inaccessible. Situations that once confused you no longer hold the same power. Emotional patterns that used to dominate you lose their grip. You start to see yourself with more honesty and compassion. You understand your wounds, your strengths, and your purpose with greater depth. This clarity becomes a guiding force in your decision-making, pulling you away from chaos and toward alignment. Alongside clarity comes stability. Not the stability that comes from controlling external circumstances, but the stability that arises from inner-centeredness. You become less reactive to external drama. You no longer chase validation from others. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself. You stand in your truth with quiet confidence. This internal solidity is one of the strongest indicators of transformation. When your inner world stabilizes, your external world begins to reorganize itself around that stability. Your intuition also strengthens during this stage. You become more attuned to the subtle signals that guide your path. You sense when something is right for you and when it isn't. You trust your instincts more deeply. You recognize the difference between fear and intuition, between ego and wisdom. Your inner voice becomes clearer and more reliable. This intuitive strengthening is essential because the next direction of your life requires you to navigate unfamiliar territory. Logic alone cannot guide you where intuition is needed. As this internal transformation deepens, you may begin to feel a stronger sense of purpose. You may not have every detail figured out, but you feel a growing certainty that your life is meant for more than what you left behind. You feel pulled toward growth, connection, contribution, and authenticity. You stop trying to shrink your dreams to fit your circumstances and start expanding your circumstances to fit your dreams. This shift is not just psychological, it is spiritual. You are becoming aligned with your deeper calling, the calling that has always existed beneath the noise of your past seasons. It's important to emphasize that you are not passive in this transition. You are not simply being carried along by fate without influence. Your choices, your mindset, your discipline, your openness, and your courage shape the direction of your path. Life provides the opportunities, but you decide how you respond to them. Life opens the doors, but you choose whether to walk through them. Life introduces the right people, but you choose whether to let them into your world. You are not a spectator, you are a participant. You are a co-creator of this new chapter. Your life is shifting because you are shifting. Your relationships, your opportunities, and your inner world are evolving because you are evolving. And the direction your life is heading is not a mystery. It is moving toward expansion, alignment, clarity, and purpose. You are stepping into a version of yourself that has always existed within you, waiting for the right moment to emerge. That moment is now. This is the direction your life is preparing to take, and you have the power to shape it with intention, awareness, and courage. As you reach this point in the message, take a moment to acknowledge what you have been feeling: the restlessness, the emotional shifts, the loss of interest in old patterns, the rise of new desires, the changes in your relationships, the intuitive whispers, the synchronicities that seem to call your name. None of these experiences are random. They are confirmations. They are signals from life itself, telling you that your story is advancing to a higher level. If you feel your life shifting, it is not because something is falling apart. It is because something greater is forming. You are not being pushed down. You are being lifted. You are being prepared for a path that requires the wiser, stronger, clearer version of you that has been quietly taking shape beneath the surface. Every transition carries a mix of uncertainty and anticipation, but this transition is different. It is not a punishment. It is not a loss. It is an upgrade. You are being redirected toward a path that aligns with your evolution, not your past limitations. The discomfort you've been feeling is simply the shedding of an old identity that can no longer contain your growth. The confusion you've experienced is the mind trying to understand something the soul already knows. The endings you've faced are openings in disguise. This is the moment when you step out of who you were and begin walking toward who you were meant to become. The shift happening in your life is a sign that you are ready, even if you don't feel ready. Readiness is not about certainty, it is about willingness. You have grown too much, learned too much, endured too much, and awakened too deeply to remain in the chapter you are leaving behind. Life only elevates those who have demonstrated the inner strength to rise, and you have. That is why the path beneath your feet is changing. That is why the world around you feels different. You are being called forward because your higher path is now unlocked. If you take one truth from this message, let it be this: your life is not shifting away from you, it is shifting toward you, toward your purpose, toward your clarity, toward your alignment, toward the version of you that has been waiting patiently for the right moment to emerge. That moment is now. Embrace it with courage. Walk into it with trust. Allow the transformation to unfold, because everything that is happening for your elevation. And if this message spoke to something deep inside you, if it resonated with the shift you've been sensing in your life, then make sure you like this video, share it with someone who might need to hear these words today, and subscribe to the channel for more messages created for those who are stepping into their identity as the chosen ones.